皆さん、映画のソータです。
And I'm Riley.
Rai-chan, did you visit the event Banpaku Expo?
No, I haven't.
Oh, are you planning to do it?
I don't have plans. Maybe, probably not. I'll say probably not.
Oh,
Like, yeah.
because I remember you said, yeah, at some point I'll be there, but your plan changed.
Yeah, I would have liked to go before
Mm.
it finishes, but I think there's not too much time left actually, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have a weekend free to go to Osaka and do it.
And also now, maybe too many people. It's so crowded.
You think
I
it's more
guess.
crowded now than it was before?
Yeah, I saw a
Really?
lot of posts on Instagram, and then yeah, it's going to end soon. October 13th or something. Oh, sorry guys, if this is not correct, but yeah, anyways, it's going to end soon. So there are a lot of people right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm still thinking if I should go there or not. Yeah, because yeah, too many people. I'll think about it. はい、皆さん万博行かれましたか？僕はなんかずーっと行こうか行かないかみたいな。まあもう夏はもう普通に忙しいので時間ないので無理だなと思っていたのと、あとは暑いのでね、ちょっと無理だなと思いつつ、どうしようと思ったらもう10月のなんか13、14あたりに確か終わるんですよね。なのでもう今もう殺到してる感じで、ネットでね、動画見てもすごい人の量なので、果たしてって思いつつも、なんか行った友達とかからは、いや、絶対行った方がええね、みたいな、めっちゃおもろかったでっていう、そう、水泳仲間にも言われたりで、どうしようって今考え中です。で、まあ、ライリーにも聞いてましたけれども、ライリーもどっかで行くって、ちょっと数ヶ月前にも言ってたんですけど、やっぱりね、時間とかね、いろいろ、結局行けなくなったりすることもありますが、はい、皆さんの、何ですか、また行かれた方の感想とか、ちょっと SNS から教えていただけたらなと思います。絶対行った方がいいか、行った結果、微妙だから行かなくてもいいよなのか、ちょっと教えていただけたらなと思います。Yes, ready, are ready.
Yep.
ソータと
Riley no
台本なし英会話レッスン。
Episode 328.
All right, what is the topic for episode 328, Riley?
Is there a standard English?
はい、今回のお題は、標準英語ってあるのかどうかです。Yeah, in Japan, sometimes or yeah, most of the time, people try to hide their strong accent or their dialects, especially when they go to Tokyo.
Right.
And in my case, or Osaka people never do that. That's kind of famous in Japan. Osaka
Uh-huh.
people are speaking their dialect all the time, no matter where they are or no matter where they go. And that's a kind of funny thing everyone says. But usually, in general, people usually try to hide their accent. So I started to wonder, yeah, what's happening in the States? Do they also try to hide their accent? Or, yeah, is there a standard English? Yeah, that is a topic for today.
Right.
So my first question is, yeah, let's answer the question to the title one. Is there a standard English?
Um, yeah, in America, there's an accent called General American English, or
Hmm.
that there's also something called Standard American English or American Standard English, something like that. Um, both are kind of used to talk about more or less the same thing,
Hmm.
which is the English that I guess was spoken kind of in the Midwest. Um, and then nowadays more on like the West Coast, California, Seattle, that kind of area is now considered to be like the most neutral English, the kind of the standard, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So your answer is yes, that exists.
Yeah, basically,
Mhm.
yes, it does exist.
Oh, then what about your English? Is it in standard
Um,
English?
I would say I used to think yes,
Mhm.
but it's not exactly. So I'm from like I was born outside of Chicago in the Midwest, which is where this accent came from. The standard accent, I mean. But then I moved to the East Coast, which has a slightly different accent, and I have a few things I say that are different from standard American English, like a few ways I pronounce things. Like the major one I think is called the caught merger. So like the past tense of catch, right? Caught.
Mm.
People will I pronounce that caught.
Caught,
Maybe I'm
caught,
saying it too strong. I'm saying it a little stronger than I really do. I pronounce it caught, but
caught. Mm.
there's like a kind of temporary bed that you sleep on that's pronounced COT. That's cot.
Mm.
So for me, the first one again is caught and then cot.
Mm.
So there are different vowels there. So I have two vowels, whereas in standard
Caught.
American
Mm.
English in California or most of the Midwest, and actually most of America except
Mm.
the East Coast nowadays,
Mm.
people combine those two sounds and they just basically say caught.
Mm.
So yeah, like this has
Mm.
actually come up in conversation with me recently. I was talking about something
Mm.
and somebody said somebody understood it as the wrong word because they have the merger. So
Mm.
they couldn't tell the difference. Merger meaning they pronounce the accents, the vowels the same, right?
Mhm.
So they couldn't understand what I said. Well, they could understand, but they thought I said something different than what I said
Mhm.
because for them the two words sound the same.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Does that make sense?
So in the past, your accent, oh, you thought you used to think your accent was standard because you didn't notice the pronunciation like caught.
Well, yeah. Well, I thought that was normal, actually. I
Mm.
thought that's how everybody pronounced these two sounds differently. But
Mhm.
now I realize that most people in the US, at least, especially young people, people younger than me, I guess, uh, pronounce these two sounds the same.
うんうんうん。なるほど。ちょっと一回訳そうかなと思うんですけれども、そう、日本ではね、結構自分の方言とかアクセントとかを、なんか東京に行くときは、恥ずかしいから隠すとかってね。で、僕、標準語っていう言い方があんまり、自分好みではないんですけれども、なので東京弁って言ったりするんですけど、なんか言葉に標準ってあるのかなみたいなのがすごく感じるので、あまり標準語とは言わないんですが、まあ一応ね、その一般的には標準語で話すとかってね、よく言われるじゃないですか。でも、アメリカのその英語に対してもそういう標準語の感覚とか、隠さなきゃみたいな感覚ってあるのかなっていうのを疑問に思い、今回このエピソードを作りました。で、まず、ここまでのお話をまとめると、そのスタンダードイングリッシュとしては、あるっていう。で、oh, you said the area like California and Seattle, they're
Yeah.
not standard.
No, they are the
Oh,
standard.
they are. そっか、そっちが
Yeah.
スタンダードか。そう、シアトルとかカリフォルニアとか、あっちのアクセントが、まあ、一応アメリカのスタンダードイングリッシュっていう風に今されてると。で、ライリー自身の英語はどうなのかっていう質問だったんですけれども、そう、もともとは自分スタンダードだと思ってたと。そう、ごめんなさい。僕、アメリカのね、地理関係がちょっとよく分かってなくて、Riley's hometown is in which state?
Okay, so it depends on what you mean by hometown. I was born in Illinois, out like near Chicago,
うん
but I spent more time in Maryland,
うん。
which is near Washington, D.C., right? So usually say Maryland if people say where I'm from, but I'm from both, I guess.
うんうん。And then, yeah, I don't know the kind of locations, like where is this state or where is that state? So California or Chicago are close to your hometown, like where you grew up.
Right. Okay. So Yeah, California's on the West Coast, right?
うん
Closest to Japan.
うん
Chicago is in the middle of the country in the kind of north, almost near Canada.
うん
So that's where I was born. And then Maryland and Washington, D.C. are on the East Coast,
うん
um, south of New York City
うんう
a little
ん
bit, right? So that's where I went to junior high school and high school.
うんうん OK, let me check. アメリカ、州。そう、聞いてるときに、位置関係が、そう、位置関係がわかんなくなってて、ライリーはつまりどこにいるがゆえにスタンダードだと昔思ってたけど、いや実際は違うって気づいたかとかがちょっとこんがらがっちゃったんですけど、ごめんなさい。これ、見るべきだなって今思いました。ちょっとパソコンで見てますね。アメリカのこの州が、なるほど、なるほど。カリフォルニアがあって、こんな土地なんですね。なんか知ってなかったです。So many states ですね。改めて見ると。
50, yeah.
50、なるほどね。カリフォルニア。で、sorry, one more time. Your hometown is in,
In Illinois, near Chicago. So Chicago's the city, Illinois is the state.
I can't find Chicago. In the
It's
middle, you said?
in the middle to the north. So there's a big lake. It's at the southern end of the long lake.
I got it. うんうん。
Kind of looks like
は
a
い。
eggplant or something.
なるほど。皆さんもアメリカ州って、見ていただいて、ちょっと改めてこれ、今勉強しましょう。どこに何があるのかっていう。なるほどね。イリノイがあって、そっか。で、一応カリフォルニアとか、シアトル。Where is Seattle?
It's in Washington State, so it's n north of California, two states north
あ
of California.
なるほど、なるほど。So, yeah, the standard English is spoken in those Western areas.
Right. So
うん、
there's a little bit of history. I'll do this quickly.
うん、
Basically, in the history of the United States, right, English speaking people, Europeans in general, came to the East Coast first,
うん、
right? So that's Pennsylvania, like Philadelphia, Maryland, New York City, Boston, and Massachusetts, all that. They came there first.
うん、
And so those are like the oldest places as far as English is concerned.
うん、
So their accents are the most different from each other and also the most different from everywhere else, right?
うん、
And then as time went on, people started moving west,
うん、う
right?
ん、
First to like Illinois and states like that, kind of in the middle west. They call it now the Midwest. And then eventually all the way west to California,
うん、う
right?
ん、
But as people moved, people from different places who spoke different kinds of English would all move to the same place. Like, for example, they would all move to Chicago or they would all move to San Francisco,
うん、うん、うん、
right? So people from, New York and Boston and even the South, right, North Carolina or whatever, Florida, would move to San Francisco. So when they got there, their accents all kind of merged into the same accent.
うん、
Because if you're talking to people every day, the way you talk tends to get more similar,
うん、
right?
うん、
And so that created this kind of general, people would say there's no accent, there's no California accent, but that's not true. But it kind of created this merged version of all the accents that became standard and, you know, kind of prestigious, you could say, popular or whatever.
うん、うん。Yeah, so they're originally coming from these areas like California. Yeah, that's why you said it's in standard English in California because that's where everything started.
No, the opposite. The opposite. The opposite. Everything started in New York, Philadelphia, whatever. But they were all different back then because they've had a long time to change and stuff like that. But then when they all move to the same place, they become the same, and that becomes the standard.
ほう。
Does that make sense? Like,
あー、う
like
ん。
okay, like you said about Tokyo, right? If you have
あ、
someone from Kagawa, someone from
彼
Osaka,
彼。
someone from Fukuoka,
うんう
they
ん
all
うん。
speak kind of different kinds of Japanese, but if they all go to Tokyo, it will become the same,
うんうんう
kind of,
ん。
right? Or even if they all, let's say these three people all move to America at the same time, right? but they spoke Japanese with each other, they
うん
would kind of naturally start to speak the same kind of Japanese over time because that's who they're talking to,
うんうんう
right?
ん Yeah, so like people in the past living in California didn't speak the standard English at the time.
Well, there was no English speakers living in California at the time, right? It was Native
Uh,
Americans and some Spanish speakers and stuff. So,
uh,
th
makes
yeah,
sense.
th
Mm.
yeah.
I thought, when they came to the area, they started speaking their accent and then they moved to those same places and then kind of they spread it, their accents, or yeah, one accent, their accent, but that's not true. So everyone came to the place, like one place from all over the regions, then the English became standard, the accent.
Yeah,
う
basically,
ん、
yeah.
なるほどね。そういうことか。うん。そう、僕も今、ちょっと、州のね、こう一覧表を見てるんですけれども、なんか、ごめんなさい。地形が全然分かってなくてすいませんって感じなんですけど、あ、カリフォルニアってここにあるんだとか、そう、この州はここにあるんだって今改めて、こう、勉強になってるんですけれども、そう、まとめると、こう、シカゴとかカリフォルニアの英語が一応今、そのスタンダードと言われシカゴ、カリフォルニアとかシアトルの英語がスタンダードだと言われてると。で、そう、ライリーはキャッチのね、過去形の caught の発音の時とかに、こう、二つのアクセント、母音を、vowel を merge、合併するとかって意味ですけども、こう混ぜてるっていう、count. That's your accent. Count.
No, caught, caught.
Caught.
It's
こわ
almost yeah, that's a little stronger than I do it, but yeah, caught.
caught. うん。And the standard is caught.
Yeah, caught.
あ
Yeah.
あ、なるほどね。確かに僕もその caught、普通にあの音だけだと思ってたけれども、ライリーは caught。音とあがちょっと混ざるみたいな。それで、なんか、スタンダードじゃないんだっていうのに気づかされたことがあったらしくて、そう。で、この、もともとどこの人たちがみたいなお話にこう広がっていってたんですけれども、カリフォルニアとかはね、こう、アメリカの州の左側、つまり、西側にありますよね。で、最初やっぱり、こう、ネイティブアメリカンの人たちとかが、このね、ヨーロッパからこの大陸に渡って、まずそこに住んでいたと。で、そこから、You said, they moved to West. Then that means New York or,
New York's in the east, so they came from New York and moved west. So Chicago first, and then San Francisco is kind of how America was settled, we say.
sorry, maybe I'm getting confused.
Okay.
First they came to California. No?
So they're coming from England, right? The UK.
うん。
So they go across the Atlantic Ocean to the East Coast. East Coast of America is New York, Boston, Philadelphia, blah, blah, blah.
You said East. なるほど。そっちか。じゃあ僕間違ってた。そっち、最初にそっち行って、then you said, that's why you said they were moving to the West.
Yeah, then they
う
moved
ん。
west
う
to the
ん。
west, uh, slowly. Obviously, they would go a little bit at a time because before airplanes, it
う
takes
ん
a
う
long
ん。
time to get to California.
うんうん。そっか、ごめんなさい。皆さん逆でした。そう、僕もこの東西がもうごちゃごちゃになってたんですけど、最初、そう、ヨーロッパから大陸で渡ってきた時、みんなニューヨークとかそっちに着いて、で、どんどん左側、つまり西側の方に行って、ごめんなさい、ここから皆さんわかるでしょ。僕、東西とかね、地形めっちゃ苦手なんです。地形わかんないですよ。地理とか苦手なんです。でもごめんなさい、ちょっと耐えて聞いてくださいね。で、左側に行って、どんどんそのカリフォルニアの方向にまで行ったと。で、みんな同じ場所にやっぱ住み着いていったと。それこそ日本でいう東京みたいな、ここがいい、あそこがいいみたいな感じで、どんどん、その、シカゴと、違う違う。You said everyone went to Chicago, Seattle?
Sorry, we're spending too much time on this. My bad. Basically, Chicago is just an example. They basically just started moving west as there were more people. They wanted more space for farms and things like that. So they would just go generally west. So
うん。
Chicago is kind of in the middle. So people would go to places like Chicago
うん。
first, and then later they went all the way to California.
ああ、なるほど。シカゴとか、そう、僕が今見てるこれにシカゴって書いてあれへんねん。ちょっと言い訳させて皆さん。このないんですよ。だからシカゴどこみたいになってるんですけど、そう、シカゴは真ん中で、で、そのままどんどん左の方に行って、カリフォルニアにまでたどり着いて、で、みんながそういう場所、You said everyone went to the same places, Chicago, Seattle, and California, you said? Those three?
Right, basically, yeah.
うんう
So
ん
like, you know, um it kind of if you think of Tokyo, like people move to Tokyo from everywhere,
うん。
right? It's not just like, oh, this neighborhood of Tokyo is full of people from, I don't know, Akita or
うん。
whatever.
う
There's
ん。う
not
ん。
like regions like that.
うん。
Everyone just kind of mixes together when they get to Tokyo.
うん。なる
So
ほどね。そっか、だから、those popular places in America are like California and Chicago and Seattle, not New York. Because I had a kind of stereotype everyone goes to New York as we go to Tokyo.
okay, okay. So yes, that's kind of true. I mean, yeah, people go to New York now, like Tokyo, kind of.
うん。
But I'm talking about like historically
うん
here, like
うん。
when,
うんうん。
so, in 200 years ago or whatever, Chicago wasn't a city really,
うん。
right? But people moved there from maybe New York or wherever, Philadelphia, blah, blah, blah. And then they moved to Chicago and then it became a city.
うん。
And then later they did that. They moved. Anyway, this is about U.S. history isn't important here, really. Basically, this
いや。
this this we could talk about the standard English. Standard English is more or less how they talk in California,
うん。
Seattle, stuff like that. Yeah,
う
yeah, yeah.
ん。
The
なるほど
history we
ね。う
we
ん。
don't need to do a college course on the
う
history
ん。
of America. I couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah, but everyone is entering the process maybe because I don't know, and then I'm now studying the geography and then Americans history right now. そう、ごめんなさい。ほんま皆さん、もう、そうたの理解力あかんな、みたいなね。また思われたらちょっとあれですけれども、ごめんなさい。こうやって僕引っかかるとずっと止まっちゃって進めなくなっちゃうんですけど、そう、とにかく、右から左へ行ったいうことですわ。で、みんなが人気な場所というか、昔ね、その、歴史的には、こういう場所に行って、どんどん都市を作っていったっていう場所が、そう、シカゴだったりとか、カリフォルニアだったり、シアトルだったりっていう。で、そこにみんなが、こういっぱい住み着いていったがゆえに、そこのアクセントっていうものがスタンダードになっていって、今も歴史的にそこの人たちの英語っていうものがスタンダードっていう風になっているっていう、まあ、端的に言うとそういうことです。とにかく右から左へ行ったいうことですね。そう、だから僕的になんかね、I couldn't catch the point really quickly because I had a stereotype. Everything is from New York or everyone is doing the standard things in New York. So
Mm.
when I was listening to your explanation about California or Chicago or Seattle, yeah, I was a little confused. But people in New York don't speak the standard English.
Um, okay, so
Mm,
some do, right? Probably actually most people do.
mm,
So that's one thing about the standard English is that in probably to some extent it's similar in Japan, but people that went to university roughly,
mm,
people that have maybe a little bit more money, a little bit more education in the United States tend to speak the standard or close to the standard,
mm,
almost no matter where they're from.
mm, mm, mm,
And people who don't go to university, maybe don't have as much money or things like that, they tend to speak what we would call like a stronger dialect, right? Like a
mm,
more different version of the local uh, dialect.
mm, mm,
So in New York, like people let's say for example like construction workers who are born and raised in New York, they will have a very strong New York accent, which is not the standard. But will most people, because New York's expensive, most people have
mm,
money and have an
mm,
education and everything,
mm,
they will tend to have a more standard American English accent.
mm. Then what about the opposite case? People living in California, for not well educated
Yeah.
speak? Like what?
They will
うん。
speak more like the standard.
あ
Yeah.
あ、うん、う
So
ん、
that's why we say, yeah, even though many people in New York speak the standard, because there is a local dialect that's different, that's why we say it's not the standard. But in
うん、
California, there really isn't a local dialect that's different, uh, except, I mean, for English.
うん、うん。
Yeah.
Okay, then in this case, yeah, where they grew up affects more strongly their accent compared to whether or not they got good education in this case.
Yeah,
う
yeah. I think
ん、なるほどね。
mm, it might even be stronger than Japan. In that way, I feel like in Japan there is some of that, but also kind of if you're, everybody speaks a little bit like if they're from Kagawa. I think even if you have an education, have money, you still speak a little bit Sanuki Ben kind of stuff, you know?
うん、うん、なるほどね。うん、面白いですね。そう、なんか、もう一個僕思ってたのが、やっぱりその教育をどれだけ受けてきたかっていうところと、その人の話し方、あるいはアクセントっていうのは、まあ日本でもね、こう影響があるんじゃないかなと思うと同時に、特にアメリカってそういうのが色濃く出るんじゃないかなと思うんですよね。で、やっぱいろんな映画を見てたり、いろんなお話の中でも、yeah, she studied in university or she's smart, so her accent is blah 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 みたいな、説明って結構あるなと。彼女はそう、ちゃんと大学出てるからとか、教育受けてるからアクセントがとか。なので、やっぱ人種によってもそうですよね。こう、例えば、Wicked の The African Americans actress、名前ちょっと
Oh,
忘れたんで
okay.
すけど、
I don't know.
she speaks, you know, she doesn't have any African Americans accent, I felt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
そう、僕はそのウィキッドを見たときに、アフリカ系の人独特のアクセントってあると思うんですけど、ウィキッドのアフリカ系の、女性の役の方が、まあ、綺麗な英語を話すなと思ったんですよね。で、もしか、ちょっと調べてないのでわかんないんですけど、なんか大学いいところ行ってたりとか、なんか教育をすごく受けてきたのかなーってその映画を見てた時も思ってたんですよね。つまりここまでのお話をまとめると、僕はね、なんか話がうまくつかめなかったのって、日本でいう東京みたいな感じで、ニューヨークがなんかその全てのスタンダードみたいなイメージがあったんですよ。なので、あ、そっちカリフォルニアとか、しかも、右側じゃなくて左側みたいな、ごめんなさい、ちょっと小学生みたいな説明でも左側と思って話ついていけてなかったんですよね。で、まあ理由としては、そう、歴史的にまず右から左へみんな行って、で、都市を作っていった。なので、そこにスタンダードなアクセントというものがこう生まれやすかったっていう。で、もう一個お話に上がるのが、やっぱりどれだけを教育を受けてきたかどうかによってアクセントは変わってくるっていう。なので僕の質問として、ニューヨークにいる人たちの英語っていうのはあれはスタンダードじゃないのっていう質問だったんですよね。で、まあ、ライリーが言ってたのが、やっぱりそのアクセントと教育っていうものは比例していくので、ニューヨークにいる人たちっていうのは、やっぱスタンダードイングリッシュを話す率が高いと。なぜかというと、やっぱ大学に行ったりとか、教育を受けてるっていうところでアクセントがね、こうスタンダードに寄っていくと。ただ、やっぱりニューヨーク生まれニューヨーク育ちの人でも、教育を受けてない、ね、金銭的にちょっと厳しい状況の人たちだった場合は、やっぱりアクセントっていうのは強かったりするっていう、つまりスタンダードじゃない場合もあるっていう。それに対してじゃあ僕が思ったのが、カリフォルニアという、そのアクセントの発祥地である、スタンダードアクセントがよく話されているカリフォルニアとかそういう地域で、例えばお金がなくて大学に行けなかった人のアクセントはどうなのって聞いた結果、そういう人たちの英語っていうのはやっぱスタンダードなんですって。まあ、つまり、ここからまとめると、もちろん教育っていうものもアクセントに反映されていくと思うんですけれども、どこの土地で育ったかっていうのが、やっぱりね、アクセントには大きく影響するっていうのがわかるねっていうお話でした。まあ、つまり、どんだけそのスタンダードイングリッシュが話されている地域で教育を受けてなかったとしても、やっぱりなんかスタンダードな英語はそこの地域の人たちを話すのに対して、ね、すごくこう、教育、まあ、ニューヨークとか、そういうのに対して、そう、ニューヨークとか、やっぱスタンダード、ごめんなさい。ちょっと話がごちゃごちゃしましたけれども、そう、とにか
Mm.
く、あれです。こう、地域の、 地域、どこで生まれ育ったかっていうのが自分のアクセントを形成するのにすごく大きな影響があるっていうことですね。うんうん。あ、そうそう。だからニューヨークで、高いお金をかけて大学に行った人と同じようなスタンダードアクセントというものが、カリフォルニアで育った場合は大学に行ってない人も備わってるっていうことは、やっぱりどこで育ったか、どんなアクセントを聞いて育ったかっていうのが、やっぱアクセントの形成においては、こう、大きな影響があるんですねっていうお話でした。it was it was a, it was such a long process until I can understand what you were
Sorry.
talking about. No, 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 no,
Sorry.
no, no. Yeah, because of lack of my geographic knowledge or yeah, historical things. So, いや、僕が地形と、あと歴史の部分をちゃんと背景知識として知識がなかったから、時間すごいかかっちゃった。それは僕のせいです。皆さんすいません。もう遅いな、みたいになってたらごめんなさい。But one more question. But yeah,
Yeah.
today, luckily, we only have two major points or questions I wanted to ask you. One is about yeah, the standard English. So there's
Okay.
only one more left. Do they hide their accent or accents
Oh, right,
sometimes?
right. Yeah, I would say yes.
Oh.
So like, and maybe hide is not the right word. I feel like sometimes they kind of naturally start to talk more like the standard if the people around them are speaking
Mm,
like the standard, right?
mm,
Um, Say I have a friend from Tennessee.
mm,
Tennessee. We don't need to talk about where that is exactly, but they have a strong accent, right? They have a strong
mm.
accent there.
Uh,
Um, but when I met her, she didn't have so much of an accent. You could kind of tell like she
mm,
was from maybe the South generally, like a place in the South.
mm,
But for the most part, it sounded fairly standard. Um, but then recently she just went back home,
mm.
spent time with her family, went to a wedding for her sister, whatever, and then she came back and her accent was suddenly stronger than it had
Mhm.
been before, right?
Mm,
Um, and yeah, so that's kind of interesting is that when you're among people who are speaking this kind of standard, and in Japan it's weird because like there's standard American English, I guess, but then there's also we have like British friends, right? And Australian friends. And so the kind of English that tends to be spoken among all these people gets kind of weird.
mm.
But anyway, when you're around them, you maybe speak more neutrally. You
Mm.
use less of your like local stuff, right?
Yeah. So I mean, in Japan, you don't get affected too much, although you have those people who speak a lot of accents.
Well, um, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I have a friend from, well, he's been on the podcast, right? Josh, he's from
Mm,
Wales,
mm,
and we talked about it maybe in one of our episodes, but like when he was a kid, he would never say R at the end of words like car
mm,
or color or
mm,
whatever, stuff like that. But now, because he's been teaching English, and in Japanese, when Japanese people learn English, a lot of time they want to learn how to say that R sound.
mm.
And he's also around Americans who do say it and stuff. So now he says it sometimes. Like he says
Mm,
beer now when it used to be bia or whatever. That was
mm,
more of a Japanese than Welsh pronunciation. Sorry, but
mm,
anyway, he didn't say the R. Um,
mm.
so yeah, I think it does change. Where you live definitely affects how you speak.
Yeah. Or we can see, yeah, surroundings affect their accents so much. Um, yeah, so not education. That's what I learned, I guess.
Yeah, well, both, I think. I think
Yeah,
definitely both.
yeah, both. But the surroundings affect their accents more compared to education. And then, oh, yeah, but education also. But especially the example, like your friend, she came back to their home country and then she came back to Japan with a stronger accent. So I thought, yeah, the surroundings or yeah, people's accents affect people's accents too so much.
Hmm.
Hmm, very interesting. そうやね。だからやっぱり、もちろん教育もね、関係するんだと思うんですけど、なんか周りの人がどういうアクセントを話してるのかによって、すごい影響って変わるんだろうなっていう、なんだろう、アクセントの形成っていうのは変わるんだろうなっていうのを今聞いてて思いましたかね。まあ、特に、カリフォルニアに住んでて、ね、教育受けてない人でもスタンダードイングリッシュを話すっていうのが、なるほどねっていうふうにすごい納得させられましたかね。で、まあ質問の、アクセントを隠すかっていうと、まあ、隠すってほどではないかもだけれども、やっぱりこう、スタンダードイングリッシュに寄せていったりとか、自然とやっぱり話してる人たちに寄っていくがゆえに、そのアクセントっていうものが消えていくっていうことですね。But it's so funny. Osaka people are proud of their or our accent.
Yeah.
So we don't try to change the accent. So
Hmm.
in America, that does that kind of thing happen? Like they're proud of their accent or they're feeling embarrassed?
I don't know if there's a particular area, region where they're like super proud of their accent, but I
Mm.
think it depends on the person. Some people will not change their accent because
Oh.
they feel proud of it, and some people will change, right? Maybe it depends more on the person. Like I think some people will have a strong New York accent forever, even if they move away from New York. But like
Mm.
my mom's from near New York City. And so she growing up had a strong accent. And
Mm.
every once in a while now, even now, she hasn't lived in New York in, I don't know, 40 years or
Mm.
something.
Mm.
But even now, she still sometimes say things in a New York accent, and like I or my sister will make fun of her for it. Um, but yeah, like some people try to change it, some people don't.
Mm. And that's also true. There are some people who are feeling embarrassed with their own accents.
Yeah, yeah, I think
ああ、
definitely.
なるほどね。やっぱそこは同じなんですね。そう、このアクセント恥ずかしいと思ってる人もいるのかっていうと、やっぱいるし、変える人もいるのかっていうと、まあもちろん変える人もいれば、変えない人も、まあ中にはいると。そう、我ら大阪人は、なんかもう変えるみたいな感覚がないんで、なんか僕はね、日本とか、まあでもアメリカでもそうなんだなと思ったんですけど、自分のアクセント恥ずかしいから標準語に変えるとかってなんでと思うんですよ。なんで変える必要があるのってもう、福岡弁やったら福岡弁でなんとかだっちゃーみたいな、なんとかだけみたいな、それいいんじゃないと思いますし、なんでわざわざなんか標準みたいに合わせないといけないんだろうとかって思っちゃうので、我ら大阪人は、そう、我が強いのかもですけど、どこ行っても大阪弁話してるんですけど、そう、アメリカでもそういうのがあるのかなって思って今聞いてました。そう、なので僕は今後も東京に行ってもどこに行っても、この大阪弁を変えるつもりはありまへんで。では今日のエピソードはい
かがでしたでしょうか？
いかがでしたでしょうか。お気に聞いていただいて、お気になんて言いませんけれども、はい、今アクセントがね、テーマでしたので、言いましたけれども。Can you come up with any celebrities who
うん。
speak the standard English?
Probably most of them do,
あ
honestly.
ー
Probably most celebrities speak a kind of standard English. I mean, Taylor Swift is probably pretty standard.
う
Um,
ん。
I think so.
She's
Um,
from that area?
well, no, actually, she's from what, central Pennsylvania, I think near Harrisburg or something like that. Um, but that area can have an accent, but I think she doesn't really. So yeah, it depends on the person, but people from California, I don't know, Jared Leto, I think is from California, maybe. Maybe he's not so famous anymore. He was the Joker in that one movie, Suicide Squad or whatever.
うん。
I think he's from California. I could be wrong. Oh no, he's from Louisiana. Completely different. Sorry, but most celebrities will speak with a pretty standard
う
American
ん。
accent, I'll say.
なるほどね。そう、テイラーは綺麗な英語を話すなーっていつも思ってたんですけど、Pennsylvania is close to California or that area, Seattle, Chicago.
It's closer to New York, actually.
そっか。でも、なるほどね。だから、そっか。ニューヨークに若い時から行ってたりするからかな。でも、そんな若い時からじゃないけれども、うん。なるほど。なので、有名人は結構ね、みんなスタンダードなアクセントを話してるっていうことでした。なので、今後ね、皆さんも、この人はどんなアクセントなのかなっていうのに注目しながらいろんな人の英語を聞いてみても、有名人もね、面白いんじゃないかなと思います。僕は英語の皆さんすいませんね。 タイムアップになりました。最後早口40分になるから終わるなぁ思ってバーやったら、僕は英語の生徒でって、英語のせいって言ってしまいました。そう、パーフェクトアクセントを喋りましたね。はい、僕は英語のソータで調べていただくと、SNS とか YouTube とかなんか Twitter とかいろいろ出てきます。Riley や Riley Sullivan XC で調べてください。最近ね、なんかよう噛むようになってきてね、滑舌が悪くなってきたんですよね。これは老化のせいか、何のせいか、アクセントのせいかとかいろいろ考えておりましたが、はい、また次回のエピソードでお会いしましょう。Riley。
Bye. Oh, yes. Actually, I do want to say something if you don't mind. Yeah. Today we talked about American English only, right? So I would like to say American English is not like the standard English for the world, right? So there's also in British English, there's something called RP, received pronunciation, or the Queen's English, it's also called. But unlike America, like in America, probably about, I would say, maybe 70% of people speak roughly the standard English. Most people talk like that. But there are some areas where there are strong accents, right? The UK is like the opposite. Most people have their own local accent, and the standard is kind of only for like people who are on the news or people who went to like very fancy boarding schools or things like that. Like most people don't really talk like that. So the UK is quite different from the US in that way. Also, Australia has a standard that I think is pretty much the same or not too different almost anywhere in Australia, but maybe depending on social class, like in America, the accent can change in Australia.
Yeah, so maybe I can have the title like that's the standard English exists in America, or yeah, I'll think about it. But anyways, in that way, we have no standard English in the world. That's what I want to say.
There are some things that people talk about. There's like something called like international standard English or something like that. But it's kind of weird because like almost only people who learn English speak like that, right? Nobody who is a native English speaker speaks international standard English or whatever. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, there's not really one standard.
確かに。そう、最後に補足しておきたいのが、今回ね、そう、僕も、タイトル付けの時とか、概要欄に書く時に、ちょっとそこは補足でフォローしなきゃなって今思ったんですけれども、アメリカの中で、スタンダードイングリッシュっていうものは、日本でね、こう、標準語みたいなのが存在するようにあるのかっていうのが一応テーマだったので、世界基準で見た時、アメリカ英語が全世界のスタンダードというわけではなく、やっぱりイギリス英語、オーストラリア英語、いろんなアクセントが世の中には存在するのと、例えばイギリスだと、アメリカみたいにスタンダードイングリッシュみたいなのは存在せず、全部の地域の人がそれぞれのいろんなアクセントを話して、ある意味もしかしたら自分のアクセントに誇りも持ってるかもしれませんよね。そう違いがあると。で、オーストラリアの場合はそんなに国の中でそれほど差はないでしょうしっていう。で、結局、インターナショナルなスタンダードな英語みたいな形で、聞いたり学んだりしてるのは、ノンネイティブの人たちで、意外とそれぞれのアクセントをネイティブ話者として話しているネイティブの人たちっていうのは、スタンダードイングリッシュっていうのは逆に話してないので、インターナショナルスタンダードみたいなのを話してないがゆえに、なんかね、これがスタンダードイングリッシュ、英語学習者が学ぶべきみたいなものっていうのはね、存在しないがゆえに、なんか難しいよねっていうお話でしたので、自分がね、どのアクセントが好きかとか、自分はどう話していきたいかっていうところで、英語学習だったり、あるいは日本語もね、自分のアクセントに誇りを持つ変えたいとか、含め、自分のね、個性というものを話し方で出していただけたらなと思います。はい。ではまた次回のエピソードでお会いしましょう。バイ。